So what's happening in the markets so far in 2019?
Well, Amy, two topics dominate the script this week in the markets: the government shutdown and trade with China. Looking at our headlines now, China buys a Mississippi-grown crop for the first time. USDA Ag reports are delayed indefinitely, and many believe the adage cattle prices are only as good as the stock market. You might say it is a combined Christmas and New Year's gift to rice producers in Mississippi and other states from China. The monster of a rice market, as China is often called, will now buy U.S. rice. Traders have worked for decades to make this happen. Tom Fitzenmeyer and other brokers are still a little mystified.
I don't know. Politics gets in the middle of this to some extent too, so I don't know whether they did that to satisfy some requirement or some agreement that was made between the U.S. and China and trade negotiators. I don't know. I'm not big on the rice market, but I'm not sure you can go to Brazil or Argentina and buy much rice. So if you need that and we've got it, maybe we're sort of in the driver's seat on that.
Meanwhile, U.S. and Chinese officials wrapped up 2 days of in-person trade negotiations on Tuesday of this past week in Beijing. Both sides are projecting confidence that a longer-term trade deal is possible. Well, it was almost 3 weeks ago now that China announced it is once again buying soybeans from the United States. What happened that week is described as the biggest bean buy of 2018, as well as the largest soybean purchase by China in 4 years. However, trader Dan Huber says China still has a lot of ground to make up as far as what the U.S. has lost in terms of bean export business.
Year to date, marketing year to date, September 1, we have exported 407,000 metric ton of beans to China. Last year at this point, we'd done 10 million metric tons, so it's going to be tough to make up for that lost ground. Plus, some of that business is probably not going to come back for many years, if at all. So yeah, I don't think we're going to need to have the bean acreage out there that we have had for the last 2 to 3 years.
The monthly supply-demand report from the USDA is not happening thanks to the continuing government shutdown. Looking back, though, at the December numbers, ag economist Josh Maples says there was a modest increase in U.S. ending stocks of corn before 2018 ended.
USDA left most of the numbers unchanged, or even the things that they did change was fairly modest across most of the commodities. So looking at corn specifically, production 14.6 billion bushels. You know, this is going to be up about 20 million bushels over last year, but the ending stocks number was raised about 50 million bushels, so exports was the big story there. Overall, looking at a lower ending stocks number than we had last year, though.
All right, as far as U.S. soybean production, no change there in the report. No change to bean ending stocks. Were there expectations for a change?
Not really. I mean, there was some expectations kind of around this number a little bit, but again, they didn't really change anything compared to the November report. So even though there wasn't a change, the big number in soybeans is that ending stocks number. You know, 955 million bushels. That's a huge ending stocks number, more than double that it was last year. So even though we didn't have any change month to month, that's still the big story in soybeans right now.
For cotton, increased U.S. production according to the report. No change to U.S. Also increased Mississippi production, So a little bearish for cotton in these numbers.
A little bit, at least that was kind of the view when the report came out, but we've actually seen prices tick up a little bit the last, in the few days following the report. So maybe, initially, but it didn't really seem to have a lasting impact, at least over the last few days. Looking at production numbers, Mississippi production was up, but really it was the increase in Texas. We saw a pretty large increase in expected production in Texas that really drove those higher U.S. numbers.
Once again, the supply-demand, crop production, and grain stocks reports that were to be released this week by USDA are being delayed indefinitely until after the shutdown in D.C. ends. Well, time to ask you a question because the trivia quiz is next. Today's question is about an animal health problem, one that can develop during long cold spells. Here it is. What animals are more susceptible to the condition known as fescue foot? Is the answer A, horses, B, cattle, C, goats, or D, hogs? Stay with us to find out. Trader Mark Gold has been looking over what cattle reports came out in December prior to the government shutdown. He says the downturn in the stock market did not hurt the cattle market as bad as it could have. However, he advises it's not a bad idea to go ahead and protect the downside even now until we get a little further into the new year.
I am surprised that the cattle market has held up as well as it has relative to what the stock market's done, which has been a trouble for that market. If we can continue to see the Dow move lower, then I think cattle, you need to be thinking about getting some hedges on, sell some cattle, buy a call if you think there's more upside, or at least have some kind of put to protect the downside.
The last cattle on feed report of 2018 might be described by some as down and up. Placements into feedlots during the month of December were down 5% from 1 year ago. Most of the cattle weighed less than 800 pounds. Marketings were up 1%. Total on-feed inventory is up 2% from December 2017. Time to wrap up the markets with another look at our trivia and our question: what animals are more susceptible to the condition known as fescue foot? The answer is B, cattle.